And it wasn't long after the hostel shut down that there was a ministry here called CV Ministries, Christian Vision, I think it was. They had a two-way radio station going out from Kunda Park to Asia, and they would tell the gospel to Asia, India, and all the Asian countries. And so you signed your name down, you signed up, and they would send you emails from people who were responsive to the gospel. So I got an email one day from a fellow in India, and we started talking and emailing, and he was in his last year of becoming a pastor through Gospel for Asia. And so we built up a good friendship over about 2 years. Finally, after a period of time, this Indian fellow accepted, after about 2 months, he accepted my help, my offer of financial help, which was only a few dollars a week to help him. In those days, they'd give him a push bike and off they'd go, and it was up to them to sort their life out with the Lord to sort their life out with them, and to take them where the Lord wants them to go. So that's where the mission in India started. And I got to know this fellow who was a pastor now, and he was passionate for the Lord, and he wanted to go to the very poor areas of India and spread the word. So of course I encouraged him, and away he went. And over a period of time, I was getting emails with people getting baptised, one after the other. And we started talking about a church. And so I financed to buy some land and bought a church. We built a church in this little village, a very poor village, probably 3 hours drive east of Hyderabad in India. And these people were very, very poor. Only the clothes on their backs. They work in rice fields all day. And so we built a little church there, and all these people came, got saved, and he's called the little ministry the Good Samaritan Ministries. And that was the start of the Good Samaritan Ministries. And today we have another church in another village. And as when we built the churches, we dig a well on the church land there, in the church, next to the church. And in the first village, the first church we built, they were getting water from not so good water. They'd have to go for quite a long walk to get their water. But this pastor fellow, he said to me one day, he said, "Dave, how about we dig a well?" I said, "I just feel we need to dig a well." And so we dug a well, and not very deep at all. Wham! Out came all this spring water, beautiful water you could drink straight out of the pipe, straight out of the pump. And so there, the village had new water, and that was 10 years ago, and it's still going. And we did the same at the other church. We dug another well, and more water came out. So there's been a lot of success in the ministry with saved people. Many people have been saved. Well, it's only a little ministry. When I call many, I say 50, 60, as it is today. Now, this pastor has become married in this time with 2 children, so he has a family, and I've been supporting the family, the ministry, and all things to do with the ministry in the last 10, 12 years. And it's come to a point where they're going to go out on their own without my support. And the pastor and his wife are only in their early 30s. And I'm excited about the whole thing, really, because it's wonderful to go over there for a visit and to see all these wonderful people who have been set free from Hinduism, from the Muslim faith. And it's like their faces are just aglow that just stands out. They are so full of peace and joy, and it's wonderful to experience these people and to see what the Lord has done in them. And in that ministry there's been many healings. Many people have been healed of all sorts of different diseases. There was a soldier who was from up north of India, up in Nepal somewhere, who came down and was in the village, and all his insides were blowing up. He didn't have no doctor. He had a few family members who walked out on him because they didn't have the money or they didn't have the inclination to look after him until he died. Well, the pastor went in there and his wife and prayed over him and healed him. That's another healing. And here he is up the back of the church praising God and testifying. And we've had many healings. There's even been healings under my prayer, which became quite a shock to me, probably more than anyone. And I was just, here in Australia, I was just the next person in church, next to you in the pew. And this was never planned. This mission and all this stuff was never planned. It just progressed by itself, from a small seed, from one email. All of this mission work started. And it progressed slowly, got bigger and bigger. And all these wonderful things happened. A lady went down under my prayer who had very bad arthritis. Well, she got up dancing around. These people had never seen anything like it. There's no TV in these villages, radio or any communication. A lot of these people live in the village and die in the village. They don't go anywhere. They're not able to. So we had another fellow I took over with me one year for a visit, a friend of mine, and he prayed over a lady and she was healed of leprosy. And we went back a year later and she came to us and showed us her foot that was leprosized when we prayed. When my friend prayed over, and her foot, she had a few missing toes, but her skin and her foot was healed. So there's been many miracles happening over there, many people getting saved, and I love to think of what's going to happen in the future, in the next 10, 20 or how many years in the future, how the ministry can grow. And I pray for the prosperity of the ministry, prosperity in saved souls. And that is what's been happening from the beginning and is still happening today. So today I'm just so grateful for what the Lord has done in my life. Here's me sitting over there visiting all these people who've been saved and shaking hands with these new Christians, new saved Christians, and seeing the change in them. And I'm to there, and I came from a very bad background. I came from sleeping under a bridge with a bag of old clothes that when I went to the rehab I had to throw out. I even had to get second-hand underpants. That's how poor I was. And I've come from there to what I am today. Today I've been able to develop my own business. I have my own small business restoring furniture, which I taught myself to do, and with the support of the Lord every step of the way. And in all my walk with Him in the last 26 odd years, He has never let me down. Never, ever let me down in anything. And in supporting and building this ministry, whenever things were needed or finances were needed, the work would be there, and just the amount of money we needed would be there, and off it would go, and things were done. And I was constantly and always constantly amazed at how wonderful this God is and the work that He does through people. He is so complex, He is so simple, and He is so beautiful, and He is so amazing. I love Him with all my heart, and I cannot express that enough really to people, how I feel about my Jesus and what He has done in my life and Him alone. All I ever did in my life was to get down on my knees and give my life to Him. He took over the rest. And I found that He's got a better plan and a better way to live and a fuller life than I would have ever imagined. But that doesn't mean that I have this perfect life. I struggle, like most people, with many things, but I know, and I have the joy and the hope of what He has shown me of Himself where I am going to go when my time comes. There is a heaven and there is a hell. We have a decision to make, and we make that decision in this life, yes or no. So that is our responsibility, and that responsibility is ours alone. And where we go from this life is up to us, is our decision. And from the things that the Lord has shown me in my life, He is real. And so is the spiritual world, and so is heaven, and so is hell. So please, why I tell you this whole story of my life is simply to glorify Him, not me. I'm not here to glorify me. I'm the same as any other person in this life. But I'm just a follower of Him. He is the one that has done all the work in my life, not me. I just got on my knees and gave myself to Him. So I will forever praise Him and thank Him. And sometimes I can't wait for His return, because He will come, He will return, and it won't be long. And I just thank Him for everything that He has done in my life. And this whole story of my life is to glorify Him and not me.